Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel here today, and if it's your first time here, welcome for the first time to the channel here today. Today we're going to be reacting to something new. I guess you would call it a film. It is called Look Back. And yeah, we're pretty excited to be here doing just that. Yeah, this one's a bit of an interesting one, right? I'm not sure whether to call it a film, or an OVA, or ONA, or whatever else, right? It's all up in the air a little bit, because it's that really awkward time of about 50 minutes. Would you call that a film? Maybe. I think it is. I don't know. We're going to call it a film. We're watching the film Look Back. So this thing's relatively new. It came out on streaming about a week ago, something like that. It's got an acclaim out the wazoo. People are really loving it out there. And it's based off a pretty acclaimed manga in its own right. A manga by a mangaka that I am very familiar with after last week. One Tatsuki Fujimoto. So yes, I reacted to the Goodbye Eri manga last week by Tatsuki Fujimoto and enjoyed it thoroughly. To be honest, I'm still kind of thinking about the ending in a lot of ways and what it might all mean and different interpretations there and so forth. So again, it's on the brain. It's fantastic. I've got it right here. It's fantastic. It's brilliant. Read this if you haven't read this. And again, if that's another one-shot by Tatsuki Fujimoto that I'm going to experience in one form or another here today, then that's only a good thing. And yeah, I don't know much else about it beyond that. I've done a little bit of research, like I tend to do. Hello, ANN. Very bright ANN here today. I've done a little bit of a research on the staff that have done the anime adaptation here and so forth. I've got my kind of predictions around Tatsuki Fujimoto himself, mainly predicated on that and Chainsaw Man and a few other things, right, that I'm familiar with. So again, it's going to be... Anyway, we'll talk about it when we look at the visuals. It's a Tatsuki Fujimoto character design, I would say, right? It looks pretty similar to other things that he's made in that kind of respect. If we scroll down here, we can see that the original character designer there is one Tatsuki Fujimoto. So that would make sense, right? Just kind of rounding off that section as well about the mangaka himself, seems to be very reverent about media, especially based on Goodbye Eri, and how media can affect people. And I guess this is worth going into the one thing that I kind of know about this. It's about manga. If Goodbye Eri is about films, then this is about manga. And again, I'm not expecting them to go the same direction by any means, but again, you can see why Tatsuki Fujimoto, a mangaka making something about manga, may be interesting, considering some of the thematic stuff present in Goodbye Eri. Again, how art affects people, how it transcends time, how it creates eternity, so to say, and yeah, maybe even potentially semi-autobiographical. Again, this seems to be starring primary school kids, something like that, elementary school for you Yanks over there. Yeah, so semi-autobiographical for the man himself, potentially. We're going to see. We don't know yet. Either way, that's enough about that guy. Let's move on to the other guys. Or maybe the other guy specifically as well, because it's Kiyotaka Oshiyama, right? He is responsible for the directing, the screenplay, the character design here, and the animation. Well, not all of the animation, but he's directing. It's his baby, right? And yeah, it's quite fortuitous and really good timing that I am currently reacting to one Flip Flappers on the channel here at the moment. So I have quite a bit to say about this guy. I think he's really good. I'm really loving Flip Flappers. It's extremely creative, and again, bouncing off of what I was talking about with Tatsuki Fujimoto there before, aware of media, aware of tropes, aware of that kind of stuff. So again, he's working within that sphere of meta knowledge almost as well about what he's making and what it's trying to represent. Again, if we're looking at again, I haven't finished Flip Flappers, but it's broadly about finding your own unique look on things and becoming like creating a personality for yourself, essentially. Again, for one of the main characters there, without going into specifics, that seems to be a lot of what Flip Flappers is about thus far. So again, potentially somebody may be looking back on a certain portion of their life and seeing how certain things impacted them to create themselves as the person who they are here today. Specifically, again, in Flip Flappers, through the value of art. Again, explicitly. So that's a pretty cool connection. Again, I can speak to that pretty confidently considering I'm reacting to it at the moment as well. In that similar vein, I've gone through this guy's stuff very recently as well. Seems to be like a key animation guy on a lot of stuff, a lot of mech design, pretty varied kind of catalog here on a bunch of different stuff. Again, any animation work on Mob Psycho 100 is good. You are good at your job if you do that. Working here on Space Dandy as well, Trigun Stampede, Gurren Lagann, Fully Cooley, Decadence, Chainsaw Man, specifically, again, that Tatsuki Fujimoto connection, potentially. Boy and the Heron, a bunch of stuff. Again, he's good. This guy's good and seems very eclectic, and again, you would have thought after Flip Flappers would go on to anime direct a bunch of different things, but again, the only chief directing roles here he has, in my opinion, or in my knowledge right here looking at this page, is Flip Flappers and Look Back. So again, talented guy. Again, that's one you really need to focus on considering his kind of prevalence here. He's doing a lot of everything here. In that similar way, I should scroll down here because the studio is quite interesting too. Animation production by Studio Durian. Isn't durian that like stinky fruit? Yeah, smelly but incredibly nutritious. What a weird thing to name your anime studio. Anyway, I digress. What has Studio Durian done? Only a few things. Specifically here helping with Boy and the Heron, hence the guy before, Oshiyama. That's what he was doing there. Fully Cooley Shoegaze, sure. And I don't know about the rest of these. Decadence, sure. Weird. This is a weird studio. I think I specifically remember reading this article here, actually, about how this is a smaller studio and how they've been working on this for quite a long time. Again, kind of not revolutionary in anime production, but when a small team is given appropriate time to produce something, potentially the results are quite good. I don't know. Doesn't sound like rocket science to me. Either way, I don't want to be around here forever, so let's kind of get through the rest of these staff here pretty quickly. The music person, wherever they were, Haruka Nakamura. I've never heard of this person at all in my life, and again, their animation work here, not animation work within animation is pretty scarce. Specifically here, the only thing I've even remotely seen is Trigun Stampede, and I don't remember the ED, and I didn't look it up, so... So again, hey, they're responsible for the music here today. We'll keep an eye on it. Specifically, again, theme song composition for that ED. Next up here, we have the art director, one Kiyoshi Samashima, which is just a little bit of background art for various things. The only thing I recognize here is the Hosoda film, Boy and the Beast. Again, after watching Utena, I have a big appreciation for Hosoda. Hosoda's fantastic. That movie's probably good. I haven't seen it. We have the director of photography here, Kazuto Izumita, if I can speak, Jesus, which is a little bit more of a large catalog. This is interesting between this person and who was the other one? The sound director, right? Between those two, if I can find it. Yeah, between those two, a lot of work with Science Saru and Yuasa and all the various creatives within Science Saru as well. So we'll go through here. We see Dandadan, we see Heiki Story, we see a couple of other things here that I'm now failing to look at and find. Either way, maybe it was more the other guy, but this guy's work with Science Saru as well. Director of photography is a weird role for anime as well. It's kind of like cinematography, kind of, but again, shot selection, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean. Some other highlights here, of course, is the Revue Starlight film as well as the TV anime. Both are spectacular. Please watch Revue Starlight. It's so very good. I really enjoy Ranking of Kings as well. Any work on Oran High School Host Club's good too. Just a ton of good stuff here. They've really put together a great team to work on this movie here today. This sound director here was a little bit more of the Science Saru connection that I was talking about. Again, Dandadan, Devilman Crybaby, Japan Sinks, Inu O, Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken. Lots and lots of stuff here. Ton of Science Saru, for sure. A few other highlights here. I really enjoyed The Wind Rises and When Marnie Was There. Again, a lot of that stuff is, that's Ghibli, I believe, for sure. As well as some more work on Boy and the Heron. A lot of work through Mobile Suit Gundam as well on various different things. Again, this is now sound work as well. You can see how all of these things together sound really good. They're just really high quality productions. They've, again, put together a killer team here. Yeah, I like most of the things I see here, which is generally a good sign. They're not working on crap. They specifically seek out the good things to work on. And yeah, I think that's about it for the staff and about it for me kind of spitballing there. Let's move on to this key visual, which is another thing I like to look at. I think this is the most common key visual that is seen for this production, so let's use it. Yeah, I'm guessing I'm right about the whole manga thing. It seems like two young kids drawing manga together. A male character and a female character, not dissimilar to something like a Goodbye Eri. Potentially, again, there was romantic implications in Goodbye Eri. Kinda. Spoilers, I guess. Maybe. Again, they're very young. Maybe not not so much, maybe crushes more than anything else. Very, very, very Tatsuki Fujimoto character designs. I'm not quite sure how to characterize it, but he has a very specific way of drawing eyes. You could argue that it's a lot more realistic than some of the more exaggerated styles of other mangakas and character designers. I really like the shading on the hair here. I believe that's going to be a thing going forward with the anime itself, so looks great. I like the choice of lighting in the scene and so forth. I think that's really good. This just seems jolly more than anything else. I really like, again, that's like rukubaku. Yeah, I like the kind of shading style on the title there as well. Probably looking for something similar to put on my thumbnail here at the end of the day. This looks great. I don't know what else to say, really. It's very simplistic and gets the point across. It's like the two main characters doing the thing. So yeah, without any further ado, I guess we'll jump into this thing. I must shout out the patrons. I always forget to shout out the patrons. So we do have a Patreon. This video itself was up a week early for Patreons for that kind of stuff. So again, if you are remotely interested in what I do on the channel and want to see videos a week early, that is your prerogative. You can pursue that at your leisure. Just check it out. Click the link. See if you like anything there. Many people have done this, up to and including Mickey Babbers, Trails++, Acomancer, Bobbin, Chobo Ribby, Dapper Dwarf, Domobot, Ichu, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Fleur Nightingale, Fruit, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glyke, Greybeard, Gus N, Heath, Ika, Ice, Yanko Yarvanen, Jacob R, Joran, Kelvin, Clem, Nosta, Cot Begemot, Lasher840, Lou, Max, Mistake L Chen, Nailu, Need, Nico Lane, Parnik, Pencil Sharp 333, Ragashingo, Runlad BNK, Saint Lily, Sam1373, Skeleton, Voeko, Without a Net, Zan Echo, Yuki Ali, Zach, Binshi, Hans Peter, Marsh, and Voodoo Chili. Thank you to all these people for giving me money. Let's jump into this thing, shall we? Yeah, it's called Look Back. Let's look at it here today, or I don't know, some other stupid pun. Let's get it up. Hello, I am White, and I have Look Back up there ready to go. 58 minutes and 20 seconds on this one. As I alluded to before, it's kind of an interesting timing. It's not quite a film, it's not quite an episode, it's kind of sitting in that OVA realm. Again, very similar to a one-shot manga. I was to talk about this as well, but I forgot. I looked it up. Look Back, the manga is 140 pages. If we contrast that with, again, Goodbye Eri, which I have in front of me, is 200 pages. So that kind of gives me an expectation on what I should expect from the story here today, potentially. Interesting. The other thing as well, what copy do I have? I just grabbed the Eri Raws. It should be very similar to whatever else is available on streaming at the moment. So, again, access that at your leisure. There will also be a picture-in-picture version provided. It'll either be in 2 parts or it won't. I don't know what will happen there, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. I might just check my subtitles quickly as well. Check that they're on English. Very good. I do speak English. And then the dub track is Japanese. All right, let's jump in here with a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. And I'm recording, which is the other challenge there. Continues to be very bright, which is true. Shueisha, sure. Studio Durian, Stinky Fruit, very cool. Jesus. It's like MGM or something. Yeah, look at this. It is MGM. Yo, I know some shit sometimes. Wait, they're an Amazon company now? That's a bit dystopian. Anyway. Sky. Moon. Very intriguing. This reminds me of the intro to Your Name, which is, again, good company to keep. Really love the music, too. Let me crank this shit. Music's great. Maybe don't crank this shit, it's loud. This is very charming thus far, I must say. Oh, the mirror. I love this. I could watch this for hours. You ever been there? I've been here, for sure. The Rukubaku, of course. Love the animation. Story ideas. Little 4-coma thing. I like that. Okay, let's jump in. First kiss. Oh, Azukin style. This is great. We're gonna like... I'm happy they're okay. I think they're gonna smooch. What? Right before they die, maybe they're not gonna be okay. That's too racy for me. Oh, the love splatter. That's great. Oh, reincarnated. This is your name, kind of. What did he get reincarnated as? As an alien? Oh, what? Oh, he. Yeah, great. Okay, fantastic. That was brilliant. Sure. Is this like a class newspaper and somebody, the main character drew this little manga? Bags under the eyes tell a different story. Oh, mangaka. Interesting. Yeah. Kiyomoto? There's construction going on outside, which is going to ruin this entire video. I apologize. Alright, let's see the manga that they made. This person that doesn't go to school. The Truant. Truant? That's better. Okay, what does this one look like? Oh! Tatsuki Fujimoto. It seems like, again, I assumed that both of there was a male and female character. It seems like they're both female from this early stage. They're way better than me. Oh no. Oh! Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, but what's the story in the other one? Yeah, all that ego shit. It's getting a hit now. You were very smug before. Oh, fantastic. Brilliant. You are just one of many now. My unique identifier. Another fantastic shot. Hmm. It was a big fish, small pond type situation, and you just dived into the ocean. Love the animation in this. Yep. Mm-hmm. No wonder it took so long to fucking make, and it isn't like 90 minutes. It looks incredible. Alright. The drive to get better, it seems like. Oh yeah, that's great. Look at that, like, what's the word? Like anatomy. Like studying anatomy to figure out how to draw certain aspects of character designs. If you want to get better at drawing, that's what you do. Or at least that's what I hear. I'm a terrible drawer. Don't get me to draw anything. Yep. Learn anatomy. That's the word I'm looking for. Yep. And yeah, during school, yep, same spot. This is brilliant. Maybe you should meet up with this other student as well. Yeah, look at it grow. The season's changing. This makes me want to try hard at things. This is inspiring. These backgrounds are gorgeous too. Jesus Christ. Hello? Yeah, brilliant. Hmm? Don't even want to talk? Hmm. What does that mean? Of course. It's what I like to do. Hmm. No, not really. Lots of people continue to draw. All the time. Now, the social recluse stuff's probably not fantastic, but, you know. Don't care. Didn't ask. Plus, you're literally 12. Um, yeah. Do what you love. I shouldn't need to tell anybody this is the most obvious moral in the world. You should do what you love, regardless of what other people think. I don't know. Yeah. Concerned. until it makes me hella money. Yeah, probably a sibling isn't the best person to give this advice. I'm not going to listen to you. Um, it's an interesting one. There is a point where it becomes obsession, and that's bad, obviously. But if you love doing what you're doing, then keep doing it. That's a fantastic shot. All that movement. Comparison is the thief of joy as well. They're trying to do very different things. Kyomoto versus Fujino, I believe is the other character. Maybe you should go talk with them. I think that might be a good idea. Yeah, that shading is beautiful on the face. And now we're back to square one, so to say. How are you going to feel about it? Hey, karate's good for you. You should do a martial art. Again, comparison, for sure. Doesn't seem like you're loving it. You're missing it a little bit? Oh, no. And now we're moving into middle school. Sure. It's very interesting. How far are we? Yeah, okay, sure. Are we going to talk with this other kid? Because you're here and I don't want to do it. I never spoke with the person, mate. Wouldn't know him from a bar of soap. Alright, it's great that these two people are finally going to meet. Bit of a different vibe. Wonder what the family situation's like. Do you do this because you have nothing else? Doors unlocked. Don't do this, by the way. Literally illegal. But anyway. Okay, less illegal. How do you graduate when you don't attend school? I guess you attend just enough. I recognize those books. And they're way more into it than me. Like a path. It's so good. Oh. The music too. Oh my god. World champion, neat. Oh god. That's grim. Oh, it's funny though. Are they looking at you? Slips under the door. Also, that looks incredible. How very charming. But I did really want you two to meet. Oh, yes. Yeah? That level of respect to Fujino Sensei, right? Maybe the admiration went both ways. And that means so much more than the random person in class that just says, "Oh, you're a good drawer," because I respect your shit so much. Brilliant. Oh, that's very specific. Bordering on obsession, potentially. I wouldn't have expected it from this character. Sign my back is crazy, though. Tensei. Or Tensei? Yeah. It's actually you, weirdly enough. Which way are you looking? You're not looking in the... Yeah, the eye contact, right? Oh, the rain. Nonchalant final boss. Very interesting. I wonder how you will react, Fujino Sensei. What are the thoughts now? Yeah? Ego tripping a little bit, maybe? I'm skipping in the rain? That looks so fucking good. Holy fuck. Now, I know this is a cliche, but every frame is like a painting. Every frame is so good. This is so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Holy. Metal Parade. It's already a 10. It's a 10. Yep, middle school. That's that passion, bro. That's that passion. Yeah, thoughts? Yeah. Cool. We're working together. Interesting. I wonder if there's potentially a middle ground for Kyomoto in becoming less of a recluse. Because again, it's like, you know, it's all good and stuff, but you probably shouldn't. Yeah. Okay, that'd be nice. Sure. Kyo Fujino. That's like their. It's like a portmanteau. Pen name, so to say. What is the snow? What are we trying to say? Oh, food, sure. Oh, yes. I love One Piece. Oda. Oda the goat. Runner up. I mean, that's good. We'll take that. Especially, this is like literally. What was that? Shonen Jump? Weekly Jump? Wait, they got a 1,000,000 yen? Yeah, they got a 1,000,000 yen and you withdrew 100,000. It's a lot of money. $1,000, something like that? Not quite. I never go to town. What do you mean? Yeah, it's all gonna be easy the entire time, guys. I swear. Like that. It's like that. If you know, you know. Oh my god, I love it. It may be perfect. This might be the most clear, perfect 10 ever. Jesus Christ. I'm floored. This thing's crazy. $500 is still a lot of money. Wait, no, 5,000? That's like $50. I'm glad I came out of my room. Great. Yeah, you seem like you were trying to avoid it a little bit. It's okay. You got me into my room. This has the same thing I really liked about Goodbye Area as well. The dialogue is it's so very succinct. Like, very efficient. There's no wasted time there at all. It's just exactly what needs to happen when you need to hear it. Okay, yeah, they're continuing to go. Yeah, okay, so various experiences of them going outside are inspiring various stories. The man who ate a bagworm? What the hell's a bagworm? Alright. Focus up. Yeah? Yeah? Liz and the Bluebird vibes. If you know, you know. It's almost like we've swapped main characters here a little bit. Or focus character for a moment. I like the character design shifts as they grow older and older too. Trepidation? Thoughts? We stopped holding hands? Huh. I see. Oh, no. No! The dynamic duo must stay together? True, but also, again, I see what you're doing here. Again, you guys are both projecting here. Or Fujino is, yeah, for sure. Ah, Tsundere. A little bit. Just be honest. The animation here. I'm sure you guys will reunite once again. Interesting. As you continue to do that, you're getting better at drawing. Adopting the digital stuff now too. Okay. We're going okay. Oh, that was like Chainsaw Man too. Yeah, very much is just Chainsaw Man, sure. But again, like much like the very intro, you're just continuing to focus on getting better. The hairpin's a great touch there too. Oh, falling asleep on the toilet? It's kind of funny. This soundtrack is so good. Who was that person? I like didn't know them at all. They're brilliant. And still adopting the name Kyo Fujino is interesting. Oh, anime adaptation? Based. Yeah, breaking news. What was that conversation? What? Someone got attacked with an axe? What do you mean? Uh, this is terrifying. I hate this. I think we're gonna get the bad news, everybody. I see. But they're good, though. Well, you did, yeah, you went to school. Keep your eyes on my back. I can't say it was unexpected. That's terrible. I don't want to read the details. Yeah. Gotcha. Sure. Again, it was very happy early. Generally, I've been hurt too many times. I wanted it to work out, though. It didn't. No! This is so fucked. Alright. Shark kick is obviously fire punch now that I think about it too. Okay, sure. Yeah, anything else? On that page, too. Seems like that was the bookmark almost, or something like that. Yeah. It's in poor taste now, I think. Slightly. That's a terrible way to think. No. If you start thinking like that, then everything's your fault. Again, it's natural to not exactly be rational at a time like this. Yeah, but you also wouldn't have known her. You wouldn't have had the good times either. Yeah. I see the significance here, even if I don't understand the emotion specifically. Looks fantastic, though. Oh, what are we doing now? Oh, okay, great. It's like Goodbye Area a little bit. A little bit. Spoilers. Are we what ifing a little bit? Seems like it. What would happen if I never came out of the room? The other thing as well. Yeah, okay, this is the alternate. Sure. I wonder how this has gotten across in the manga. It seems like quite a difficult concept to convey. Okay, still goes to art school, it seems like. Sure. Okay. I don't want to watch this. Yeah, I don't want to. The text makes it so much worse. What the fuck? Yeah, this is fucked. I don't want to see this. Turn this off. Now. I don't want to see this. The text is so bad. I don't want to see this. Yeah? Psycho? Freak? Bet you smell bad too. I do not want to watch this at all. I'm gonna need someone to save the day. Here we go. Okay. Saved, I guess, by the power of fantasy. Oh, that was great. Yeah, the split frame there. Sick. Fucking Superman punch. Ah, it's all. I mean, what an interesting alternate reality. Because again, you two don't know each other now, right? Den Wabango. What? Are you going to say a name? Yeah. Wait, did you go to this school? Then we went to the same school. This is really interesting. Two. Oh. Okay. Great. This reminds me a lot of Your Name, weirdly enough. Like a lot. How long do we have left? Yeah, okay. Which one do you like better, Chad? Which interpretation of the story? And now you're almost skipping home too. Oh, you always kept them. Great. Oh, that's the first one. Yep. Whoa! Yo! That's so sick. That's so sick. Also, they should totally kiss. Under the magical door of magic? Mysteries? Oh, look at this. Yeah, hell yeah. Interdimensional door. I sent you back a little scrap. Also, Fujimoto definitely has something for girls in suits. He loves that shit. Yeah, I mean, that is an insane, like, magical thing that just happened. Ah, great. Classic gag. Look back. Oh, the title. Okay, you can open the door? What's gonna happen here? Is magic real? Not quite. Didn't think it would be. But it did give you the confidence to come in here and have a look. I was a big Shark Kick fan. I read every volume. Oh, that's what was collecting on the shelf before, during the montage. The connections. Oh my god. Setup and payoff. My two good friends. I mean, serialized manga it's grueling. A little bit of ego, for sure. Why do you draw? To give the feeling to someone else? Oh, for the smiles on their faces? Why do you draw? Because I was drawing with you. That too. I see. That's why I draw. Right there. It's Shark Time, baby. It's fantastic. Oh, hell yeah. I don't know about you, I'm inspired. I'm ready to go now. It's not gonna. It's at the little. Yep, great, fantastic, wonderful. Back in the chair, back in the saddle, ready to go again. Back to square one as well. It's very similar to the first shot of the whole thing. There you go. Back in the saddle. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to start off with my thesis statement. That is, like, the most obvious 10 out of 10 ever. Like, it's just... The only thing I can think of, and this is the only thing that I can think of which is remotely bad about it, and bad's even the wrong word, it's just a decision that maybe I felt like the momentum was really good up until half an hour in, and then it kind of dropped when the thing happened, obviously. But I think what they did with that, in a whole... And again, it's purposeful, right? The momentum of that relationship and the good times also stopped, so it's natural that the momentum would stop there. And then again, once you figure out what they're doing from there, just blew my mind all over again. Shares a lot of similarities to Goodbye Eri. It's a beautiful song too. Look at all these different people that worked on it. Kinema Citrus, Les Douce. Yeah, lots of people. Lots of little studios helping. Thank you, guys. It was just brilliant. I just loved it. It was the perfect length. Can this thing be nominated for Oscars? Can it? Because it should be. Like, very obviously. Oh, yeah, again, it's not the be-all, end-all for animation, obviously. But you know what I mean. It's just so good. It's just so good. Like, how can... Again, like... trying to poke holes in it is the wrong perspective to take to analyzing anything as well. So, like... I can't. It's also entirely my shit. You may have noticed that it had two female leads that were... if not directly, then largely implied to be romantically involved. Which, again, is kind of my shit. The set of influences there are also, like, 10 out of 10s for me. So it reminded me a lot of Goodbye Eri, which is very good. It reminded me a lot of Your Name, which is very good. It reminded me a lot of Liz and the Bluebird, which is good as well. It reminded me a lot of Hibeke Euphonium in general. Just this extended desire to be better. Love this as an ED choice as well. Working all day and night. The music, oh my god, how good was the music? Yeah, Haruka Nakamura. Get her in everything. I'm gonna imagine her. Get her in everything. She is incredible. I really like this vocal as well. Urara? Sure, we'll take it. One other thing I wonder as well, is this semi-autobiographical for my guy, Tatsuki Fujimoto? Did something like this happen to him? That's terrible if it did. Because, again, the manga is so much like Chainsaw Man and Fire Punch and a bunch of other things. He got serialized and so forth. What's the other thing I was going to say? That whole scenario there with the random guy that thought that they stole from somebody, or thought that they stole his work, reminded me a little bit of Kyoto Animation as well. Which, again, may give it an extra oomph for me personally as well, considering how tragic that was. I'm flawed. Is that the end? No, we still got a little bit. Okay. This guy's incredible as well. Do way more stuff, please. Between that and Flip Flappers, my god. My god. Oh, and then we're going to do the Netflix thing, are we? I think we are. Let's just let it play, though. How you guys doing? I'm feeling a little bit emotional after all of that. I don't know how I'm even going to begin to talk about it again as well. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to treat it like a movie or just go back through it again. I think I can go back through it again. I kind of want to too, considering how good it is. So yeah. Sorry about the construction noises in the background too. My apologies, for sure. Picked a bad time to record, which I tend to do more often than not. They love building shit out there. I don't know what they're building, but they're building something. And there we go. We're done now. Good. I can stop filling time. Wow. Yeah. We're going to take a look back here. I think I'm just going to go through it again. I think that's the best way to talk about a lot of this stuff and what makes it so cool. Again, I wish I was more of an animation guy, because clearly that is what is one of the most impressive aspects about this whole thing. Is the production. It's one of the best looking things ever. It's insane. It's insanely good looking. Yeah, we'll bring it back up and we'll go through it here in but a moment. So yeah, that was Look Back from Studio Durian, from Kiyotaka Oshiyama, I believe is his name, and the original source material there by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Everybody that worked on this deserves a huge pat on the back. I was just thinking, again, just reiterating my kind of thesis statement there from the ED. I can't think of a better thing that I've seen on the channel outside of like a few things, right? I've watched Liz and the Bluebird on the channel. Liz and the Bluebird is like my favorite movie. So, sorry, this isn't my favorite movie. It's pretty close, but it's not my favorite movie. I really enjoy certain episodes of Utena and what I had to say about them. Again, you can go back and see which particular episodes I was talking about. I can scarcely think of much else beyond that. I really enjoyed Goodbye Area. I know it was a really recent one, but I really enjoyed the video I made out of it as well. Girls Last Tour. Yeah, Girls Last Tour is amazing. It's right up there. It's right up there with the best thing I've done. And I've been doing this for like 2.5 years, something like that. So that's saying something. And I again, I'm not trying to say like I'm the tastemaker or anything. I just only watch the best stuff, but I kind of do. Like I only watch really, really good stuff. I don't get kind of into all that icky stuff. I don't like that. So when I say that, it comes with some gravity, for sure. For sure. This is exactly what I wanted from this. It's exactly the kind of story you should be telling in this amount of time. It is supremely focused. It is excellently produced. It is aesthetically brilliant. It tells a very interesting message. Again, I'm umming and ahhing about spoiling Goodbye Eri, because again, I see a lot of Goodbye Eri in this for sure. Especially in the ending. Especially in the ending for sure. Very similar there. Almost this, you could call it that, this pinch of fantasy, I would say, sprinkled in the very end. Oh my god, yeah, I see what he's saying now. Little pinch of fantasy there. Just, yeah, and this general kind of theme between the two of this appreciation of the profound impact of art upon people's lives and how it can change them, and also how art connects people. That's again this thing that unites both Goodbye Eri and this art connecting people, art preserving eternity even after death as well. Very, very, very similar within that regard, for sure. It reminded me a lot of Your Name, especially when, again, the kind of third act supernatural twist happens in this. There is you could call it's more of a midpoint in Your Name, where it's revealed that there's a supernatural twist as well. It's only the most popular anime movie. I'm sure you guys know about the twist there, but I won't spoil it here. And again, about these kind of star-crossed lover type characters, let's say. Also the propensity for both to love a musical montage. Both, again, Look Back and Your Name really appreciate that. And Liz and the Bluebird, specifically thematically, I think a lot of Liz and the Bluebird is about somebody going on to pursue something or somebody pursuing something else. And again, the whole lesbianness of it all as well. Yeah, that's the connection I see there. Also gorgeously, achingly gorgeously animated. There was a few Naoko Yamada-esque touches in this as well. I know it's almost a meme at this point. Very explicit shot of Fujino's legs at a certain point, which I thought was quite Yamada-esque. And it's not a stretch to say that she may have had an impact here. Again, only one of the most prevalent and popular and acclaimed directors of the 2010s would be Naoko Yamada. Also explicitly, again, a lot of Science Saru staff working on this. They probably worked with Yamada in the past on something like Heike Monogatari. Would make a lot of sense there too. I just loved it. I just loved every single moment of it. I really did. Again, I just think it drops a little bit of pacing, but again, on purpose, when the thing happens, when the axe murder happens, for sure. And again, considering, I brought it up as well, the Kyoto Animation arson attack, I'm definitely getting that kind of vibe here from this whole thing. And again, that's more specifically relevant to the anime industry, who probably worked with a lot of the people that were killed in that tragedy, right? I'm seeing a lot of that kind of energy and that kind of emphasis put into this as well, right? And again, we'll get to the scenes and the lines there by the axe guy and how I think that that's brilliant as well, but we'll talk about it when we get to it in a little bit more detail. I think I'm just going to go back through here. I just can't emphasize enough how much I just loved it. I just loved it so much. I can't even begin to describe it. Anyway, we're going to go back through and I'm going to talk for a while about it, for sure. We start here on an achingly beautiful shot of a rotating skyline before dropping down into the house below where Fujino is drawing her manga. This leads me to my first incorrect assumption about what this thing would be. I thought there would be a male character and a female character. I was incorrect. I was looking at those character designs and I was seeing things that weren't there. Not the first time it's happened. Again, from the jump, I said that shot there reminds me of Your Name, very much so. Again, that kind of shot of that meteor coming down in that film, that I don't know, asteroid, shooting star, whatever else you want to call it, you know, that kind of impetus for the entire conflict there within that film. In contrast, here we go a lot more homey, right, where we just kind of jump in the front door here, or the front window, I should say, and look upon one Fujino-san, right? In that way, the start of the film here and the end of the film are quite cyclical. Right? We start on this shot of the moon and that kind of nighttime and see a character working well into the night on their manga, right? By the very end, Fujino is quite the same. They feel, again, with a different set of motivations, still quite passionate about drawing and manga in general, right? Again, that kind of daybreak into night falling, into getting up and going home and, you know, doing whatever else. Hey, whatever happened through the events here, it led me to this exact same point where I'm still pursuing what I love, right? We pose a very interesting question by the very end of this piece as well, which is, why do you draw? Fujino, why do you draw? And again, it's very interesting, right? Because I think the motivations here go in various different ways. I think it starts off here, but we don't see the impetus for it starting like ever. It was just something to do. It's something I like to do. Made a little comic strip. Clearly a student that wants to do good and is popular and that kind of thing. Very talented at a lot of different aspects, right? Then at a certain point here, it turns into ego, right? I've got competition. They're way better than me. I want to prove that I'm also as good as they are, right? You'll also notice Kiyomoto's manga is basically all backgrounds, which is very interesting. It's an interesting kind of distinction between the two. It's only natural that she went on to do the backgrounds in the serialized stuff that they ended up doing. Or maybe not the serialized stuff, but the stuff before that, I should say. And again, going on to pursue art at university, it's only natural that that would occur. So again, ego is driving Fujino at that point, right? And then beyond that point, when we finally meet face to face with Kiyomoto, it turns into a little bit more of a, I want to see the enjoyment on their face. I'm growing closer and closer with this person. I see what my art does for other people, right? I see the impact that it has on them. Again, I'm looking down at Goodbye Eri right now because it reminds me a lot of that as well. And again, that becomes the central motivation, and then that becomes the drama that becomes the propellant force in the film, I would argue. This thing's also chock full of references. I wouldn't be surprised if you could pause a bunch of stuff like this and look at all the shelves and go, hey, that's literally that, that's literally that. I named a couple of them. Again, there's a Goodbye Eri reference, a ton of Chainsaw Man references, probably Fire Punch references if I had read it, and there's also One Piece is there for but a moment as well, so sure. You're probably inspired by Oda. Let's be real. That's probably correct. I'm just looking around the room at various things. The room changing and this background changing is a huge identifying factor in where Fujino's mental state is at during the film. Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record here. I sound like I say it every single time. A bedroom of a character is a view, and it's an external view of what they feel internally, right? Again, we're going to see that play out again and again and again in this movie. I'm going to sound like a broken record about it. The title here is also fantastic. It's twofold. It's got its pun meaning, which we'll discuss a little bit later in the film. But Look Back is obviously, again, you could read it as autobiographical from Tatsuki Fujimoto. I'm looking back on a point in my life where I felt similar feelings to the feelings the characters are feeling within this film. Just out of curiosity, what does this thing have on Mal? Like, who would hate on this? 8.82? Seems low, if I'm honest. Seems low, especially at, like, Mal's inflation on things, for sure. Oh my god, I just remembered the other Flip Flappers connection. It's lesbians, of course. Anyway, I don't know why that just came to mind. Weird. Okay, I better get into this thing. I'm still on the first shot. Considering the Science Sado connections in the staff, I'm seeing a lot of Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken in this, which is a Masaki Yuasa joint, which I didn't really enjoy personally. But this was the best aspect of it whenever they jumped into these manga worlds and kind of discovered... It wasn't manga in that, it was film, of course. Yeah, now I remember. Was it? It was like art. I don't know, it was weird. Yeah, whenever they jumped into these fantasy worlds, that were always the best sequences where they do these art style changes and so forth. I'm happy to see some of that lineage here. Weird thing going on with audio mixing in this movie, I might say. Like, this sequence is really low. Is that purposeful? I don't know why, but again, maybe a my copy issue as well. I really like the art here. It's clearly like a 11 or 10-year-old girl's art, I would say. Like huge exaggerated eyes, almost very shoujo-esque in the features. Obviously, not everything's quite correct here, proportions-wise and so forth. It's all a little bit ramshackle, but that's also what gives it its charm, of course, as well. I just think, it does a lot of early characterization for a character such as Fujino. Now, having finished the thing, Kiss Me Again When We're Reincarnated now has a little bit more meaning to it, of course, as well. And again, from here, we see the reincarnation take place, where we kind of relive through life and we see one of the characters age up, where they've been reincarnated, and here comes the kiss in question. The huge zoom out here to the kind of man-kiss meteor impending upon Earth that is going to destroy Japan and the entire world based on its size. So again, this is a fantastic gag, but also it gets to something a little bit deeper than that. It goes to show the transcendental, almost like world-shattering significance of this love between these two star-crossed lovers, right? And again, that is an external view of how it feels internally, the strength of this love, so to say, right? Again, just works perfectly for a little kind of 4-coma here, right? Just brilliant. It's very funny, it's very snappy, it's pithy, all these kind of things, right? Yeah, great. Good manga. I really like it. And from here, we're introduced to Fujino proper, right? Fujino-chan, your 4-panel, your 4-coma this week. It's really funny. Thank you. And we see back here, she looks rightly chuffed with herself. Again, this is what I'm talking about. The manga here is my little moment of celebrity at school, right? Everybody's focusing on me. Everybody's saying that I'm really cool. I'm loving that because I'm like 10. Fair enough. You kind of brush it off as I drew it in 5 minutes. I'm just that good. I'm just that popular. I'm just that brilliant that I can come up with this stuff and it's, the talk of the town. In reality, I see the bags under your eyes. That's not something that comes from somebody that just breezes through life and does everything very easily, right? You are up late into the night drawing this manga, putting at least some amount of effort and soul into it. Of course, again, much like Goodbye Eri, a lot of these lines from very early are coming back in a prophetic way by the very end. This student here questions if you would like to become a mangaka when you grow up. Sitting at a desk all day sounds boring. We end the film with you literally sitting at a desk all day, because again, you've got that drive and that passion based on the events, right? Based on who you're now drawing this for. You're drawing this in somebody's memory. You're drawing this, even though they'll never see it, if they did see it, they would elicit this reaction. Again, you find that drive to sit around at a desk and draw all day, right? Again, talk of the town. Everyone's focus is on her. You could be a sports athlete as well. You're so very good at all that other stuff. The teacher then calls Fujino aside and says, hey, can we give one slot in the weekly newspaper to Kyomoto, right? This is the plot starting, everybody. We don't know who Kyomoto is, some kid that doesn't go to school. This kid in particular doesn't want to come to school but wants to try drawing manga. So again, at this point, right, we learn later on that Kyomoto is directly inspired by Fujino and her drawing. If she didn't do these little manga in the first place, then Kyomoto wouldn't have done what they did and they wouldn't have been brought together, right? It puts, again, this significance in the plot upon this first decision, the first shot of the film, when you're continuing to draw. That initial effort is birthed into future effort and births these beautiful relationships between people, right? It brings people together. Art has a great way of doing that, right? Again, we don't know this here at this point, but what you're doing here is directly inspiring Kyomoto, right? Again, initially you're very smug, but you do offer a slot in the newspaper. Again, it's very hard to do what I do. That won't be able to compete, all that other stuff, right? I'm not sure a wimp that doesn't come to school will be able to compete with me. It turns out that wimp that doesn't come to school drew something absolutely spectacular. Look at this. Look at these backgrounds, baby. Holy. Oh, this is clearly, it's like their house. No, it's just like after school. Hence the title of the manga, After School. And again, it's in direct comparison to my charming but cartoonish style over here, right? This is so much more professional, right? I think both these styles have their merit, right? You have these manga that are so very beautiful aesthetically, and then you also have Azumanga Daioh. I think Azumanga Daioh is still brilliant, right? Like, both have value, for sure, but again, you're now being directly compared against something that looks so much better. I really like the choice for the discordant kind of piano chord upon the comparison between these particular panels. Again, it's this interruption between the general calm atmosphere of the rest of the soundtrack thus far. And again, leads to this quite humorous moment where you are now confronted. Again, I said it during the reaction. You were the big fish in the small pond. You extended that pond out only ever so slightly and found out that, hey, there's a bigger fish here. And this random comment from this random kid really gets to Fujino, right? Compared to Kyomoto's drawings, yours look pretty average. And it's that word, right? Average. 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 Just another faceless person in the crowd. I've lost my unique identifying factor. In a very flip-flappers way, you could even perceive yourself as somewhat empty, right? Like, again, just another face, you know? This leads to one of the first montages of the film, I would say, where we have Fujino walking home, kind of very, what's the word? Sadly, I guess, that'll do. And she recounts all the times that she got praised for her art in the past, right? At home, by her parents, by a teacher, even her grandmother, I'm guessing, right? Oh, you could become an artist with these skills. And then, the background here is beautiful too. Compared, again, the same line again, yours look pretty average compared to Kyomoto's. And this is the striking one. This is the first time I've even faced any adversity in my hobby, right? The thing that was also there in the kind of cutaway as well, when Fujino is sadly walking, we see this one bird flying in the air. I am stuck on the ground, this other person compared to me is flying and soaring. Where again, in contrast, I was that bug in the water before. I am the mud beneath the tractor, right? I am only ever going to be like this. I am only ever going to be average. Just another plant in the pond, you know? Interestingly enough, you take a stance here, right? Kyomoto's only good at this because they don't go to school. They don't go to school, so they practice the whole time drawing. That's how they've gotten this good. If I want to continue to be this good and receive praise and whatever else, I'm going to have to basically give up everything else. Again, I wish I could talk to the animation in a greater level of detail. I just think it looks really fucking sick constantly. The hair's great. These kind of smears are fantastic. I love how much it portrays motion. And yeah, that's the shot. That's the killer shot, right? Again, I said it during the reaction, every frame here is a painting. This will be so easy to find a thumbnail for, you've got no idea. Like, again, sometimes you're watching something and it's like, yeah, it's kind of hard to find a thumbnail for this. I'm not going to struggle. I'm not going to struggle here. From here, we see Fujino, she literally just Googles how to get better at drawing. And then, again, Google's going to spit back at her, because I've literally seen this before. Anatomy. Figure out how to draw anatomy really well and how certain body features link into other body features, certain poses, do a variety of different aspects of art, right? Specifically, the fortuitous part as well. It seems like Kyomoto has this penchant for backgrounds, and now you're doing all of the kind of human stuff, the anatomy stuff, right? So again, that combination, when they do unite, is a perfect mix to create manga. Just a gorgeous montage here, going through, again, a couple of years in Fujino's life here, where she just continues to get better and better at drawing. We can see the various kind of muscle structures and everything that she's focusing on, to the point where she's exhausted, to the point where she's overly tired. Is that a little Hello Kitty in the background too? Based. Study perspective, learn anatomy, think 3D. More importantly, just draw stupid. Ha! This is great. This is good advice for anything, by the way. The best way to get better at something is just to start. Again, because I'm a dork, I can relate it to what I'm doing here and now, compare what I was doing 2 years ago to what I'm doing now. I'd like to think what I'm doing now is a lot better. I've gotten better at talking to a camera, right? Gotten more confident. Lots of things, right? I think the videos are better, right? Because I've done a lot of them. Practice makes perfect. People don't just say it for no reason. And now here's the shot, right? Various aspects of her life where she's just staying in the same spot, losing friends along the way, but continuing to stay stationary and just draw to get better. Ignoring family, ignoring holidays, just getting better at anatomy, right? Filling scrapbook after scrapbook, season after season with various drawings. Well, these backgrounds here are gorgeous as well. I remember commenting as much as such during the reaction for sure. And just like that, 2 years have passed. We have Fujino-chan here continuing to draw. And again, this scene is meant to get across one thing and one thing only. She is neglecting her popularity, the reason why she used to draw, to get attention and that kind of stuff, right? For the inherent value in drawing. She's missing the forest for the trees based on that initial motivation, right? I used to draw to get popular. Now I'm getting less popular because I'm drawing. So where's the value? I'm not getting the feedback loop there, right? I think very specifically here we shout at the fact that she may become a hikimori or a neat or any of those other words that we use for a shut-in. Based on this, she's losing that kind of physical connection, or physical, emotional, anything, social connection with anybody, right? I'm becoming a recluse based on my hobby. This is not healthy. It's being framed as unhealthy. Again, it's being framed as way more healthy when you're working together with Kyomoto and you both bring each other out of your respective recluse states, right? You got a friend, you're doing it together, you're going out and adventuring and going on little dates and stuff. It's all very beautiful. That's that good shit, right? That's that good balance. What she's doing right here, right now, isn't a good balance. And again, I think it's being reflected as such. I kind of went off on this sentiment during the reaction as well. Aren't you too old to be continuing to draw and so forth, right? She's literally 12, so no, she's not too old to continue to draw. And again, even if there is such a thing, you should continue to pursue art and creating art whenever you can. It's therapeutic. It opens you up to so many other worlds. All sorts of stuff. It's beautiful. Create art. It's good. She's clearly wrong, this other girl. And it also reminds me of one of my favorite albums, which is called, oh my god, Nurture by Porter Robinson. Fantastic album. Specifically, the song Musician goes into very similar stuff here, right? No such thing as being too old for something. You got to pursue your passion. I just can't stop, I'm sorry. All those kind of lyrics from that song. Reminds me of that kind of stuff. Something I personally really agree with. But again, from a character beat perspective, this is where you're reconsidering it all, right? You're like, is this really worth it? I've been doing this for 2 years, continuing to try to get better and better and better. I've lost everybody. There used to be a kind of classroom of people surrounding me, looking at me, drawing my stuff. They're all gone now. Why was I doing this in the first place? I have no reason to be doing this. Why should I? I think, again, the kicker here is in the next scene where you continue to see Kyomoto's work, and almost in that inverse perspective, right? Your work originally inspired Kyomoto to start drawing. Your work here, or their work here, is inspiring you to stop, which is a fun dichotomy for sure. I will also note that you are sitting in the main character seat, which is very cool. Shoutouts to anime tropes, hell yeah. I will say that this scene here feels kind of repetitive. Do we really need this same message reinforced from a school perspective and a home perspective from this older sister character? Probably not. They kind of achieve the same purpose. Really like this framing though, it's really cool. But yeah, again, this is just like somebody telling you to stop drawing. Your parents are worried about you. Your friends are worried about you. You're becoming reclusive and weird. I guess it brings up the idea of the karate class, which does come back by the very end, and also during one of the montages after she's quit, where she does pursue karate, at least for a little bit. Again, if we're doing this kind of what-if alternate reality scenario that we do later in the film, it is she put all that kind of obsessive energy into karate instead of this, and was able to save her friend in the at the end of the day. I guess it's a build up, right? It's a build up of, so it doesn't look like the decision here to quit on the spot is out of nowhere. This is a build up of things within her life telling her that this isn't worth it. And again, that kind of frustration on the face there before, and now seeing the manga, oh, they're still so way much better than me. And just, yeah, in a moment here, she's just like, fuck this shit, I quit. And yeah, straight back into it, straight back into, like, going through these things that she used to do in her life before she was obsessed. Flicking that switch and she's able to... I restarted the film? Oh no, I gotta find where it was. Yeah, basically, again, just, like, you know, back to square one, back to who she used to be. Throwing out all of her drawing books, going on these kind of adventures with her old group of friends, pursuing karate, all sorts of stuff. This was the direction that her life would go before that kind of decision point a little bit later on where she visits Kyomoto's house. This is in contrast to a shot before where she was sitting at the kind of family table continuing to draw. Now she's working. She's participating in the family unit a little bit more too. She's able to be like a normal person, that's good. But her eyes are also kind of glazed over. You can tell that this is just a kind of numbed, dulled reality. It's not quite as bright and brilliant as the stuff we see through the montages through the middle portion here. We see the pile of books here as well that she then goes and chucks out. These are the pile of books that we'll then also see surrounding Kyomoto's door. A very similar kind of thing, right? If all that effort we saw in this montage amounted to this amount of scrapbooks, imagine all the effort that went into making the backgrounds as good as they were for Kyomoto's work, right? That's, again, that kind of... It's without telling us, it's showing us how hard she works, right? How hard Kyomoto works, right? We saw how hard Fujino worked. It resulted in this. This is how much you're doing. That's crazy. That's a crazy increase. We meet up with the same teacher character again, who gives us a little side quest. Hey, I need a favor. You need to go give this graduation diploma to Kyomoto, right? The truant student who's been drawing the manga the entire time. We've now graduated primary school, elementary school, whatever you want to say. Hey, can you go give this to them? I don't know how they graduated without attending school very much, but again, them's the breaks. I guess it only is elementary school. It's kind of sad that this is the closest connection that Kyomoto has, right? Is somebody that they've never met. I know, again, you two have never met because she never came to school or anything, right? But you two worked on the manga together in the newspaper, so you're the closest thing that she has to a friend at school, so therefore you get the side quest of giving her the thing. Again, it talks to this lack of friends that she's made, right? And from that perspective, I really like the decision here in the film to not focus at all on Kyomoto's backstory. What made them reclusive like this? What's the family situation like? Whatever else, right? Like, we just don't get to know. We get to kind of input the blanks from our own mind, which, yeah, I like that. Fujino only ends up doing it out of obligation for the teacher that they had at least a working relationship with. And yeah, it's all about contrast, right? Contrast the house that you lived in, the 2-story thing, with this little shack on a side street out in fucking bumfuck nowhere, you know? No family around, no friends, they're probably at work, all that kind of stuff. But the door's open. It's just really weird, and it's really dark inside and doesn't really seem lived in. It's almost like a show house or something like that. It reminds me of Monogatari, Hanakawa's house a little bit. If you know, you know. Here's the first sign of life within the abode. We see various stacks of books. I've already gone into this, just showing that devotion from Kyomoto. This is also the first visible source of light we see within the house. This is that kind of shining light, the shining extra thing in this zone. It looks all cold and decrepit over here. This is where the passion is. This is where the heat is, you know. Also specifically shining upon the little manga as well, the little kind of blank sheet that becomes so very important to the plot. So again, because of the timeline nature of the film, we talk about the decision point. This here is the decision point, the decision to draw or not to draw. And again, this is what she ends up blaming herself for later. If I didn't draw this here at this moment and then accidentally drop it, I never would have met Kyomoto and she still would be alive. Again, we'll talk about it when we get to it, but there's an ironic twist there that her life would have went pretty similarly, still would have pursued art school and did all that kind of stuff, only to be saved by me in a kind of... Yeah, it's a really weird thing, the whole karate ending. I think is brilliant, but it's weird. This vacant smile here as well. This is almost her giving her, like, I'm drawing this manga for old time's sake more than anything else, right? This is my last gasp of creative energy that I'm gonna give this. Almost robotically seeing the four coma style and then putting something in it. Again, she's tried so very hard for so very long. The manga here in question is almost like a shut-in Olympics or something to that effect, where we have crowds of people cheering along a shut-in to shut in longer and be more reclusive and all this kind of stuff. Again, if you wanted to squint, you could say that Fujino is putting a lot of her own experience into this as well. Again, ultimately being beaten in the shut-in Olympics as well as in the drawing Olympics, right? She's even a better shut-in than I was. That's crazy. I just, again, getting absolutely mogged by this random person I've never met. But again, the cruel, ironic twist by the very end is that they're dead. That's why they're the best shut-in, is that they're a corpse. They can't go back outside. Again, has its ironic twist by the very end of the story here as well, I would say. Yeah, I'm generally, it's the combination of these character designs with this shading on the light side, right? We don't get that solid line through this section, and I think that gives this art style a lot of its character. Also, the specific shading here, the extra kind of red on the ears, is I'm just trying to figure out what makes these characters look the way they look. And again, I think that's a big part of it, right? Again, you make the mistake of dropping your little manga there, goes under the door. Of course, you're going to be embarrassed about the whole thing. Oh my god, I can't believe I did that. I love this slide here as you leave and yell the thing. And again, we see the other side of this later in the movie as well. Again, the thing here, the thing that you don't know, little do you know, Kyomoto is your biggest fan in the world. Imagine, again, you're a huge fan of somebody, you're a shut-in, and then you see a unique work by them kind of slide under your door. This first person shot is brilliant as Kyomoto makes the decision to leave the shut-in space and go see her hero, essentially, Fujino sensei. And here's where we learn about the dual admiration. Again, I'd been so very jealous of Kyomoto's work for so very long. It's been the driving force behind me getting better, right? Little did I know the same thing was happening on the other side, in this recluse's little bedroom. Kyomoto really steals the show here. Fujino's obviously the correct choice for the main character, but she's so adorable. She's just stutters over a word. She's so very passionate. She's so great. I think she's the heart. If Fujino makes more sense to be the protagonist, you're the heart of the film. Which again, I would love to see somebody emotionally react to this that is a little less cynical than me, because I kind of I saw something coming. I thought maybe it was going to be... I didn't think it was going to be a death, but I thought there was going to be some other wedge other than just art school, right? It was death. We went that severe. But again, at a certain point you have a knowledge of structure of story and how things should go at certain points that you just know that the bad thing will happen here. Which again, makes Goodbye Eri so very interesting in what they do there. Anyway, whatever. It's fine. Read Goodbye Eri, it's good. This comparison here between these two shots too, you stuttering and you know, trying to get your praises across, and the stoicism over here on the other side, again, almost shell-shocked by somebody considering my work in such high regard. I love the nervous tick here, of course, coming back by the very end. I don't have any paper, I want your signature. Sign my back, please. The eye contact here is one too. You're so very genuine about the whole thing. But again, I don't have the heart to tell Kyomoto right now that I've quit drawing manga. So again, this is the thesis statement of the film. This is me being confronted with the fact that my art supremely changed somebody, right? It made them obsessed, so to speak, right? It made them obsessed with doing what I was doing. How cool is that? And leads to the awesome skipping scene we see here in But a Moment. You're just trying to keep it together. You're like, oh shit, this is why this shit's cool. I was doing it for myself. I should be doing it for other people, right? That's the whole appeal here. So now, of course, confronted with the fact that I've now stopped drawing manga halfway through the 6th grade, what have you been doing the entire time? You were so good. You were a genius, right? You were a manga genius. And then the eye contact, right? Not looking her in the eye. This is a direct lie. I've been trying to come up with a story for a manga competition. I can't shatter the illusion of this person that's so deeply invested in me and my art. I have to, even if it's a little lie or something, right? I've actually just been keeping the good stuff to myself. I'm building up to you know, make a manga for a competition. And of course, Kyomoto wants to see it, which makes a lot of sense. Oh my god, the animation is so beautiful. It's so good. Oh my god, that's so, yeah, amazing. Just the kind of mismatch here between the emotions, excuse me, is so very fun. Like, again, I'm lying, I'm trying to be nonchalant about it all, and you're just way too chalant about the whole thing, really. But again, you see the passion there. This is the one other moment where you sneak some eye contact, right? Look how fucking jazzed she is about that shit. That's the good shit. That's the shit that makes you want to skip around town, right? And again, almost like confronted with that emotion right now, right? Confronted with like that feeling, and I don't really like it, and I want to walk away, and I got to use the rain as an excuse. I'll see you later. And again, waiting till they're well out of sight, right? Before, again, ooh, actually, no, that feels really good. That feels amazing, actually. In a film that's so very good, this skipping scene is almost certainly the highlight. It is incredible. It's the moment where everything changes and you realize why drawing manga is actually cool. That's why it's animated this well, by the way. That's why it's so very emphasized. So one thing, it's beautiful. The other thing is it's unique. It's perfect. This is the perfect scene. It's so good. Again, all that build up to all that tension, all that devotion that you've given is finally given some feedback, and you just explode. How good. Oh my god. This shit should win 10 trillion Oscars. I'm not even joking. Like, I'm gonna fucking kill everybody if this doesn't win 10 trillion Oscars. Oh, and this is great too. So, you leave your shoes, your wet shoes, and your wet feet from skipping in the rain and doing all that kind of stuff, leading a trail up into your room. You disregard the clean house and everything. Specifically, you entered Kyomoto's house and you put your shoes very neatly and you were very careful and very proper and prim and all that kind of stuff. You don't care anymore. You're so very passionate about going in now and starting work on whatever's next. Wet backpack, wet shoes, wet everything. Going in and we're drawing Machine Dude or whatever it's called. We'll see this as well. This is a very obvious one in the next segment where we kind of go on our little date into town and whatever. Walking directly against the crowd is a pretty obvious one, right? I'm going in the direct opposite direction from the masses. Now, it used to be that the masses were the thing that propelled me to draw. Now I do not care about them at all. I am solely focused on one person instead. And this drive to get better. I've got some positive feedback from somebody that I really respect, and that's driving me now, right? It's this consideration of yourself as only one of many and like faces of the masses to not considering the masses at all. They don't matter anymore. I'm divinely focused on this one thing now. Now we're in middle school and I'm hanging out with Kyomoto and she's doing the backgrounds for my new manga pretty much. I don't go to school, so doing these backgrounds is a piece of cake, but it feels like we'll never finish our 45 pages. Again, that's your traditional length for a kind of one shot for a first little look at something, right? For a pilot episode, so to say. So now we play that same kind of montage thing that we did before, where the character is in very similar positions, continuing to draw, but there's an addition to the frame. It's Kyomoto there doing the backgrounds. Now we're working together on this thing, and it's fucking awesome. And this room is getting enveloped, right? Again, the room is the view into the internal of the character. I've invited Kyomoto into my internal, and manga has sprouted from this seed, so to speak. Oh, yeah, and this is great too. So in the very end of that montage there's nothing in the room, because they've collected everything, and now they're taking it into town to be examined, right? They're going to go to a publisher and get seen. What's this little logo up here? That looks familiar. Sure, let's say it's familiar. Metal Parade is the name of the manga, and I really like the kind of portmanteau of the two names. Kyo Fujino as the pen name here. This pen name persists even into the future. I don't know anything about Tatsuki Fujimoto. Potentially that's a little pen name as well. I do not know. And I really like this. We're not doing the stupid thing where somebody at one of these places looks at something that's clearly amazing and then says, oh, you could do better here, here, and here. What does that? Oh my god, there's a manga about drawing manga. What is it? Oh my god, I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember what it is, but they take the very obviously good manga to this guy and he's like, oh, it needs to be improved here, here, and here. It's like, no, take into account that it's two 13-year-olds, big dog. It's clearly pretty good. So again, from here we entered into a competition and earned some fucking money. We can actually make a career out of this thing, right? So much of this this film and the relationship here is characterized by Fujino pulling Kyomoto along. Again, that's literally what's happening in the story as well. My manga initially was the thing that pulled you along and pulled you into this thing. I pulled you out of being a shut-in before. I'm now pulling you along here. That's to emphasize, again, Fujino's personal blame on herself when the thing happens, right? When the death occurs. I'm personally blaming myself because I'm the one that pulled her into this thing. Again, just something we continue to see, the two continuing to hold hands and be pulled along. It'll become pretty obvious here in but a moment when we go on our little trip as well. But the vibes here are immaculate, trudging through the snow to find the next weekly jump to see if we won the competition. The two of them look inside here and see that a 13-year-old duo takes the runner-up position for their little manga called Medal Parade. The reward here specifically is 1 million yen, which is nothing to scoff at. $10,000 essentially. Pretty good, pretty good. Imagine how good you would feel. Holy, yeah, jolly vibes for sure. It's never gonna go bad ever again. Does this poster in the back say butterfly effect? That's kind of funny. Again, based on kind of, again, that route we chose and the kind of butterfly effect nature of drawing manga. That's kind of fun. I bet there's a ton of little background stuff that I'm missing as well. Please shout it out if you see it. Now, this scene here is adorable, the showing off of the money. I can buy a house with that much. Maybe in a few hundred years, or if you were born like 100 years earlier, potentially. But yeah, we're never owning homes, everybody. Sounds awesome. They are all over each other and very blushy. I'm trying to resist the urge to just call them gay, but I mean, the proof's in the pudding. I don't know. You know, it's a good movie when every scene is your favorite scene. This is also my favorite scene, right? We're running past everybody, past the masses, against that crowd again. It's so very bright and beautiful and everything, right? This date that we're having together. Yeah, see, the this is very flip-flappers. Oh my god, the colors. The blues and the pinks and that kind of stuff, and the contrast between the two, and the two being united in this kind of purplish haze. I love it. Now, I saw this here as a Goodbye Eri reference. If you know, you know. I'm not going to elaborate any further. It also makes a lot of sense it being in a movie theater as well, if you are familiar. It could also be Chainsaw Man. Let me get up a shot. Like this one here, right? It's kind of similar. Ignore this bullshit, by the way. Thank you, 60 FPS anime opening. Exactly what I wanted. Shut up. Nah, like this shot here. Kind of similar, I would say. Cool guys don't look in explosions, or whatever they say. But yeah, they just have a day on the town, and it's all very beautiful and stuff. This is the pick of the bunch, by the way. This shot here is so good. Like, how could you hate this? It's so good. So again, this is another manifestation of the reward of it all, right? We only spent 5,000 yen today, but we got 1 million for what we did, right? We can actually make a career out of this. We can see a future here. But more than anything else, it wasn't the crazy fun that we had. It was that we had the crazy fun together. That was the next thing, right? We could work together. We could be this dynamic duo. Very important line in the context of the film as well. I'm glad I came out of my room. I was afraid to go out today. I stopped going to school because I was scared of people. I guess that's an indicator we get of why she stopped going to school, right? But experiences like I had today makes me happy to be alive, pretty much. It makes me happy to be out here interacting with people. Now, isn't that beautiful? Hopefully nothing crushingly sad happens. Again, thank you for getting me out of my room. And again, you could thank me with the money, but yeah, beautiful. And the two of them continue to work together and make various works all through high school. The beautiful part here is also inspired by their own personal experiences, right? They make their way to the ocean. Look at this hero shot too. Look at this hero shit. And yeah, we're going to call this one The Sea Cities by Kyo Fujino. Looks beautiful, by the way. Almost a very 80s style. Next up, we're together and we're out here and we're playing in the park. I really like the kind of bouncy nature of the animation. They don't need to be on model here, which is quite beautiful. We use this adventure here, kind of bug catching, if I can speak, to inspire the cicada humans, which seems like a little bit more of a horror thing, which is kind of crazy. We go to the aquarium together. Oh my god, another gay girl aquarium date? Crazy. That's in like 2 or 3 things that I've watched. Anyway, they go here, and the man who ate a crab, or ate the crab. This seems like another horror thing. This thing's crazy. And again, that same shot as before, right? Dragging her forward, dragging her out of the room, dragging her along on this little adventure that we're having together. It's no coincidence that this is also very beautiful, right? Like, this is literally the good times, which will be contrasted with the dulled color scheme later on. But again, we see that kind of grip on the hand there, back here, kind of start to slip a little bit. I feel like this is where Kyomoto starts to find that other side of the passion, starts reading these art books, and it's like, okay, I think I want to pursue this even more, become like these artists instead of just a background artist for a manga. Again, you look at the art books, you like them just fine, you're entranced, you're over here in the dark, you want to go over there, you're walking towards something else. You know, there's a separation here in the frame now between the two. We're diametrically opposite. We're going to have a separation here. Again, even this shot here, the two starting to drift apart on this kind of cloudy day as they go in and find out that they're going to be serialized, the two of them. You've published 7 one-shots by the age of 17, which is crazy, by the way. So yeah, we want to give you a shot here. So again, Fujino's really happy. She's fucking all about it. You're hiding something. And then that kind of reveal comes out here. Again, that kind of grab on the arm, very pensive about this whole thing, very pensive about, again, I've been pulled along for so long. This is that separation. This is me deciding to do something for myself, right? So she wants to go to art school. She doesn't want to help with the series. And again, Fujino is very interesting. She's a very realistic human character, I would say. She isn't perfect. And this is honestly a pretty juvenile reaction to somebody coming out and saying this to you, right? You almost become quite mean here, which again enforces the kind of tragedy of it, right? I never got to make up with Kyomoto as well by the end of it, right? And again, almost as a defense mechanism, you're very callous about the whole thing. I can just get assistants to do whatever you did, blah, 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 blah. There's no point in going to art school. That's a stupid decision. All these things that she's kind of implying here. Also, again, very obvious one, this kind of separation on this winter's day between the frame of this kind of dead tree, separating the two, going in these different directions. Again, you're too high school to say it, that you like her and you want her to join, and it's not the same without you and all these things. You're too proud. You've been personified from very early in this film as being a very proud person, and I think this is coming to the fore once again. Again, a flawed character. We like that. Instead of speaking your mind here, hiding the eyes, hiding the emotion, facing away, instead of speaking what you actually think. I would miss you. I like it when we do it together instead of apart. I want to stay together, basically. That's what you want to say. And again, you keep trying to convince her in your own way. You know you're going to have to talk to people at college, right? You're not going to have me to do it for you. And again, now that I've pulled her out of that room, now that I've kind of got her out, she wants to try walking on her own 2 legs. You've brought me into society once again. You've stopped me from being a shut-in. Now I want to go out on my own. The bird's flying from the nest, so to say, as well. It's only natural that Mama Bird gets a little bit emotional about it. You must remember that the characters here are also still like 17, so again, not even close to adult. Yeah, really emphasizing the animation here. Almost feels rotoscoped in spots here. Very, very naturalistic. Yeah, facing each other, getting emotional, getting into a bit of a screaming match, the tears starting to flow, and then the admission here. Kyomoto wants to get better at drawing. Again, that whole thing that united us in the first spot. I want to get even better, right? That's my passion now. You've inspired me again to do that, to want to pursue that even more, to get into this world. And again, now I'm going in my own different direction. And that's okay. So now we see the different direction that their lives go in. Now, I mistakenly thought that this was Kyomoto during the reaction. Again, that confused me a little bit in the moment. As it turns out, this is Fujino, and this is her kind of setup for drawing her serialized manga, right? She's looking up shark reference images for her famous manga Shark Punch, or whatever it was called. Shark Kick, that was it. Again, this thing is clearly just Chainsaw Man, right? That's what we're getting at. I think we're getting at that. Again, Fire Punch, Shark Kick, you get what I'm saying. And there's trials and tribulations there, but it continues to go. It doesn't rank. It ranks high initially, and then the hype kind of dies, and then it's like, oh, it's better. It's, it's going okay. And now the reveal at the very end here is this is now Kyomoto's kind of shelf. And an interesting thing to note as well, she ends up buying multiple copies. Is that to like help bump up the numbers? Is she gassing it up? Maybe. Again, just wanting to support her friend in her next endeavor. And again, slowly but surely, you continue to work at it and the series kind of skyrockets in popularity. This is literally just Power. Hello, Power. How are you? And again, we see the office grow and grow. I've got said assistants over here helping me do the backgrounds, and I'm able to expand my office and become one of the best mangas, right? One of the most popular ones going around. Again, that's the propensity for, musical montage showing its face here. Again, all these shots are just so brilliant at looking at all the little details, right? Yeah, again, like multiple copies, right? You've got multiple copies of it? Yeah, why did you buy 2 of Volume 1 and 2 of Volume 2? Are you gassing it up? Maybe you're gassing it up. Either way, we see here it's getting more and more cluttered, more and more reference images, more and more everything, really, more and more trash. Take out your trash, by the way. But again, that kind of crunch cycle of being a serialized mangaka is kind of brutal as well. The clutter means that they're going to move into a bigger office soon, is what I'm trying to get at. Now, again, I thought that this was Kyomoto. Not the case. So pinning the hair up is less significant, but you are letting it grow longer and longer, as opposed to keeping it well cut and what you did before, right? Again, less desire to focus on physical appearance and more devotion to my craft. Again, I thought the hairpin would have been significant for Kyomoto, considering, again, it's all about going out and facing the world. Getting the hair out of my eyes would have been significant there. But again, I digress. This is that same face from very early as well. I feel like there's a very similar face in Goodbye Area as well. Just that kind of like rage drawing. I love it. Again, eventually moving up and up after, you know, the trials and tribulations and becoming the #1 ranked manga in the fucking world. #1 on Shonen Jump, #1 in the weekly rankings, and an anime adaptation confirmed. Again, does this not sound a little bit like Tatsuki Fujimoto and his stuff with Chainsaw Man? Just a little bit. And now here's the tragedy. We're just going to kind of let it play out here. Essentially, we've moved into a bigger office. It's a kind of foggy, cloudy day. It's ominous, one may say. And we're doing too many things at once. Again, we're a serialized mangaka, so a lot of stress. I'm drawing all the time. I'm on the phone looking for more staff, looking for good staff, rating different staff, all that kind of stuff, where I see a news report over on the side that a shocking attack has taken place. Does she have 2 phones? That's kind of crazy too. I like the little note here of the legs too. Again, Yamada-esque, you could say. That kind of obsessive compulsive little leg bump that I do as well. I'm notorious for it. Probably hopped up on caffeine too, if we're honest. So again, here's the thing, right? So absorbed in my work and so absorbed in my obsessive streak, almost becoming a shut-in yet again, not, you know, communicating with my friends, not doing any of this kind of stuff, just shut in, doing my thing, not even focused on this, like, terrible news report over here, only focusing on it when it's too late. That's another thing, again, very similar to Goodbye Eri in this idea of obsession, too, to almost it becoming a problem, to you becoming, like, unwell mentally, like obsessing upon your art. That's definitely something that Tatsuki Fujimoto likes to focus in on, for sure. Yeah, again, that you don't notice the things around you and how bad they're actually going. So here's where we learn the tragedy. A man with an axe attacks students at an art university at the city where my good friend Kyomoto is. And it's like, oh shit, I know that she goes there. She could have been one of the students. I'm going to try to ring her fucking immediately. Gets no response. No response. And then this is the heartbreaker, right? If mum's calling me after what's just happened, something fucking bad's gone down. Something bad. And again, like, subtlety. We don't need to hear the details here. We already know what's happened, right? We can put it together because we're adults. Immediately at that moment, we flash back to a different scene. I'm guessing this is almost close to not the final goodbye, but just before the final goodbye, before they learn of their serialization. So again, this is the point where, again, Fujino accepts some kind of personal responsibility for what happened, right? Because of what I said here in this scene and before, and pulling her out of the room and all the things that I've done, I got her to want to improve her drawing skills. I got her to want to improve her art. So she went to university. I am personally responsible for her death. Again, A doesn't equal B, but I can see why you would think that if you're in the position of Fujino. Somebody, again, that has a penchant for becoming a little bit obsessive-compulsive as well, let's say. Keep your eyes on my back and you'll grow. Another line that gets funnily flipped by the very end based on the, again, signature on the back of Kyomoto, right? On her little kind of jacket that she wore. Again, keep your eyes on my back and you'll grow. At the very end, you eat those words by keeping an eye on her back and growing as a result. Again, there's a reason why it's called Look Back. Think about it. Again, the signature on the back, look at my back, look at... Brilliant, love it. Didn't see that the first time, cool. The really awful thing we do here, and the part that got me really icky, is this kind of stuff, the news reports and the kind of descriptions of what happened and the blunt force injuries and it's really quite visceral. I don't like hearing about that stuff. Like, again, specifically when we're replaying it a little bit later on, the descriptions of where the student was and when the attack happened, I really didn't like. It really gave me the heebie-jeebies. We announced there that Shark Kick has gone on hiatus, again, for pretty obvious reasons here. My best friend fucking died. Again, my drawing and my stuff there inspired her to do it, in my opinion, right now. So again, I'm kind of falling out in love with drawing right now. And again, here's where we're at that kind of reflection point, at that infraction point, right? Where everything changed in this one hallway, right? Love it as a decision to face us here once again, right? How am I supposed to go back into that room? How am I supposed to open that door again and let her out yet again, right? Inspire her to to want to be who she wants to be, you know? Again, the manga there specifically, and we'll see it in a moment, the one panel that goes through that tells her to just stay in her room, as opposed to the panel that literally forecast her death, right? That panel doesn't go through, and you know, she doesn't die as a result in that little alternate reality scenario. I also like this, the one window there, that one escape, that one letting in of the light, again on this dark hallway. Just, it's so brilliant. Again, the line of work only increased. Again, that obsession only became more paramount, only, you know, towered and towered and towered. And again, literally, I'm looking back on that now, looking back on what happened, and that is the reason why she died. That is your personal motivation here at this time. Again, I just love it. Like, I can't open that door again like I did in the past, theoretically, right, by slipping that manga through. I can't inspire her yet again and look upon where she used to be. It just makes so much sense. It's very similar to Goodbye Eri in that regard, where it just makes sense and it fits perfectly, and it makes everything else before it just, you know, lay flat, makes sense. You can see it here, though. The pacing definitely has diminished. It is very slow through this section, again, on purpose. That kind of rat race of life, that obsession has now grinded to a halt and led to some self-reflection about the whole thing, right? Like, why do I do this? Why do I do any of this if it only leads to me getting hurt again and again? I keep wanting to bring up Goodbye Eri. Again, reading back through your old work, seeing all that stuff, seeing all that, almost the karate put into it as well, all the anatomy work, all that stuff put into this manga. Was it all worth it? It's led to me here in this depressing situation here and now. Why should I do that? The kicker here, of course, is the little manga that started it all. This is the key to everything, right? You know, she was using it as a bookmark. She kept it as a memento as well. This was very important to her. It all makes perfect sense. It's also very, it's another panel of characters holding hands. Again, that kind of pulling her along motif that's been so important to the film up to this point as well, rearing its head. Again, if I never did this, and again, the romantic implications as well, if I never did this, then the rest of the thing would never have happened and she wouldn't have died. That's what you're thinking right now, right? And again, how painful that is. I'm also pretty sure that it's just a Chainsaw Man reference as well, considering the costuming of this character. Looks very Denji inspired. Yeah, that ironic twist on the corpse frame there at the very end as well it's a gut punch for sure. It's a great touch. Realizing that difference there, that first panel, don't come out. This other panel, come out. If I just rip off here and send this one through, that'll change reality, you know? This is where we almost get to Clanad areas as well. Vague spoilers for Clanad. There is a sentiment within Clanad where a character wishes they never met another character because it directly resulted in their death, and I think that's tragic as fuck. I wish I never had the good times because the bad times right now feel that bad. That sucks. That's not what we want characters to feel. Remember how good we felt at this moment? This character here that was even participating within it now feels like it's not worth it. That's how devastating the tragedy is on that human level. Again, I love that as a concept. Again, I wish I never met you type beat. Yeah, really, really cool. From here, we rip that manga apart, and hold your horses, everybody. We get a little bit magical. Again, that pinch of fantasy here in the third act. That one manga panel passes under the kind of door there and seems to go back in time. Again, to that infraction point, what if instead of, you know, the whole manga passing through there, it was instead just this panel? This panel here that tells her to don't come out. Don't come out. Okay, good advice. And then doesn't come out of the door. Well, that's a fun reference. Little, little Fullmetal Alchemist there. Ed and Al. Fantastic. Love it. Again, there's probably a ton of shit there for the sleuths in the audience to find. Again, now we're in an alternate reality type scenario where the two never met. I never found out that it was Fujino-sensei was the one that put my diploma on the ground there. In an ironic twist as well, you think it must be a ghost that left it. I can't fathom another person coming in here and actually leaving something. From here, we see the two lives have now split apart somewhat, right? You continue to, you know, work at home, be a shut-in, be inspired by art when you can, you know, still leading you ultimately to the path where you pursue art school. You go to university, you're painting, you're doing all kinds of cool stuff, very cool. Gets accepted, doing a lot of kind of still life stuff and, landscapes and all sorts of stuff. You're becoming a very good artiste. Again, ultimately leading to that fateful day. This is the stuff I really don't like. This kind of, again, news report stuff of the killing. And we're watching it happen in real time to this character that we have so much investment in. Feels very bad, man. The student sits on the couch and has a break. She hears a metallic knocking sound from the staircase. Yeah, the student, the non-humanity of it all. Again, imagine like a very close friend of yours or a loved one, or reading like almost like a true crime description of how they died. But again, you know the person. You can picture the person that's so very important to you experiencing this. Again, I hate, I've never seen something like that before. I hate it. This guy looks fucking deranged, by the way. I don't like his character design at all. He's got a very big head. And he's fucked up. Again, you're not good around people. Oh my god, the little cringe. Like, oh my god, I don't want to talk to this person. I don't want to interact. And he's clearly erratic. He's clearly like fucked up. He's sweaty. He's got no mates. He stinks. All sorts of stuff. And again, there's the senseless violence angle to it all, right? I went to an exhibition. I saw that there was an exhibition from this school that had art that looked similar to mine. Therefore, I want to kill you all. Fair enough. I see how you get from... No, I don't see how you get from point A to point B. You're a psycho. You're clearly a psycho, and you deserve to die. And again, I can't help but think about Kyoto Animation and the arson in all of this. I just can't. It's so very similar in my mind. The senseless violence of it all. Just any student. I'm going to see any student and kill them with a fucking axe. But again, we get a pinch of fantasy here. Don't worry, it ends up okay. Don't you dare look down on me. You're looking down on me with an axe. Don't you dare look back at me. You should look back instead, bitch, because you're going to get karate'd. Fuck you. This is great. Again, I've talked about the whole pinch of fantasy concept, and kind of introducing this at the very end, just kind of this almost random coincidence that you would be happening by and you would know karate and kick him in the back. He should have looked back and all these other things, right? But again, there is a tragedy to ultimately, like, Kyomoto's death in any perspective coming from her love of art, right? And almost the motive of the killer here being a love of art in a weird, twisted way as well, right? Like, I love art so much and want to be successful off of it, it becomes soul-crushing when I see others succeed. You can almost see some of yourself in that, almost certainly not as severe, but again, getting frustrated and lashing out when other people are better than you, right? Anyway, let's enjoy the moment. The fucking karate kick, so very brilliant. And again, oh my god, the punch there's so good. Let's replay that. Action replay, everybody. Show me that punch yet again, please. Right here. Urgh, fucking hell yeah, I want a gif of that. Fucking awesome. Now again, in this alternate timeline, of course, you quit manga in the 6th grade. You never became inspired again based on that meeting with Kyomoto. Therefore, you became obsessed with other stuff, you pursued karate, you were just happening by the area, you were just in town, I guess, walking by, and noticed that a weird guy was around, so I took it on my own self to use my karate skills. Again, it's a fantastic callback with the karate thing as well. Then we have the moment of discovery here from Kyomoto. Again, you're so very obsessed with Fujino-sensei, you've always been, right? This is where you discover that this is the same person that was writing the manga in middle school, or before that, primary school, right? And it's a random coincidence that I was saved by that same person that I used to be so very obsessed with, right? Kyomoto asks the question here why Fujino quit drawing manga. Well, I recently started drawing again, so I'll help you when you become serialized, right? Again, in another life, we could have been happy. There wouldn't have been this separation, this fantasy that I've created for myself. Almost certainly delusion as well, but it's beautiful. It's so very beautiful, right? Again, it sits on that weird border between delusion and fantasy and actually happening. That is very similar to another thing that I have done on the channel very recently. And yeah, you're so very happy at the prospect of getting a chance to draw manga with your hero, with Fujino-sensei. Again, reflecting that scene from very early in the film once again, only that the characters have been aged up. And again, wouldn't that be so very happy, right? Wouldn't that be so very happy? And again, Kyomoto gets to go home happy, go back to that room, the room that she once was in, and again, be inspired to draw manga once again based on Fujino-sensei's work. Oh, this is the kind of stuff that they do. And again, here's the killer line, that kind of callback, kiss me again when we're reincarnated. It's almost like they've been reincarnated here once again. All these two star-crossed lovers that were reincarnated in another universe are now these two characters here, and we should kiss and stuff. It'd be awesome. There's also, again, I'm seeing that meteor with the kiss flying in, and that kind of flying sidekick from the karate as well. That's kind of a similar angle too. Again, I'm not quite sure what I'm trying to say, but I'm seeing the parallels is my point. And again, here's the reversal of the same thing that Fujino did in that hallway so very long ago, seeing a blank 4-coma and just deciding to draw something almost on a whim, in the sunlight, in that kind of warm color, in that warm day. All those birds flying away as well, that kind of bird motif. Liz and the bluebird? Oh my god, watch out for it. And again, that kind of destiny to it all, that red string of fate, leading that kind of 4-coma strip to slip under the door once again and back into the original timeline. Now again, did that all really happen? I'm going to pose a better question. Does it matter? I don't think it matters at all. What matters is that the emotions are real, and the emotions are what inspire you to get back into drawing manga. Hello, this is editing me a little bit after the fact, where I've kind of broadened my understanding of what's happened here, I guess, a little bit more. So again, that delusion sequence most definitely didn't happen. What happened was that the wind blew past, kind of along again with this bird motif. We saw the birds kind of fly out of the tree as well. Again, almost like this twist of fate that the wind blew this particular strip, that it was right here under the door. The characters in said strip, when she reads said strip back here a little bit more, these aren't necessarily the characters. These aren't necessarily meant to be, you know, Kyomoto and Fujino, right? It's just meant to be a little bit of a gag about two funny characters that I can, again, project onto a little bit more, right? I can see this manga and I can project ourselves into it. But again, much like I said in the video just before, it's not about it literally happening or those events or her being saved or anything else, right? It's about what it represents. It represents this particular style, this 4-coma style, this very jokey style as well, being a direct inspiration that Fujino has made on Kyomoto, right? Again, she cherished these things. She had them up on the wall, much like I had a bunch of stuff up on my wall that inspired me at various points during this movie, right? I've had various things up on my window that kind of propel me to do what I do. Makes sense? Makes sense. This is a representation to Fujino that my work has impacted Kyomoto more than I even knew, right? She was directly inspired by my gag manga style to the point where she wanted to emulate it, right? To the point where she loved my manga, that she had huge posters of it in her room, that she had every volume over here, and that she kept this kind of jacket as a memento, right? With the signature on the back. She was my best friend, but she was also my biggest fan, right? And now we're making that connection. For all the other fans and for all the other people out there that are inspired by me, I must now go back and continue my work. Again, as represented by Kyomoto, this is how much it means to certain people. And again, this is that wake-up call there that justifies that. And again, all predicated on that one fateful gust of wind blowing that one manga strip under the door. That's, again, my true, real interpretation of what happened. A little bit less fantasy-esque, so to say, but again, I still really like how the film presents it. If anybody else has any other different interpretations there about what that all means, please, I'm all ears. Again, much like the Goodbye Eri stuff last week. So what did Kyomoto draw here? A little 4-coma, a little scribbly little thing, almost in a very Fujino-sensei style as well, very gaggy. So we have a killer guy with a pickaxe, sounds familiar. I'll kill you. Busting in, we have Karate Jones herself, kicking him in the fucking face. You're Fujino-sensei. You are not hurt. And then, oh my god, look behind you. Look back. You've got a pickaxe in your back. And again, that little 4-coma being called Look Back by Kyomoto. And again, she can hardly fucking believe it. She's like, what the fuck? Am I going to walk in here and she's going to be fine? The answer is, of course, no, because we don't live in a fantasy world, right? As it turns out, it's just an abandoned old room. It's that same old room. It's that, you know, there's nothing special here. It's just one of the kind of strips on the window that flew through based on the wind. But again, more importantly here, I am reinforced with the connection that my work and my work that I do on Shark Kick is personally affecting other people. That's what you get here. Specifically Kyomoto again. You're reminded of the same thing that you knew from before. The same thing that made you want to skip in the rain all those years ago, right? My work directly inspires other people and makes them happy, right? he's a fan. He's a fan of mine. They have my poster on the walls. I've made it, right? Filling out reader questionnaires, all those kind of volumes on the wall, collecting various copies of the same volume. You're like the world's biggest fan in the world. Even up here, like literally fire kick. Okay, you guys aren't slick. And yeah, the killer gut punch here, of course, is the Ayumu Fujino signature here on the back of the initial kind of coat that she was wearing way back in the day, that Kyomoto was wearing. This is an indelible, irreversible, indescribable mark of the power of my work on another person. They wanted my signature on their back, right? And again, all I had to do is the title of the whole thing. I had to look back. I had to look back on my life, look back at the people that inspired it, look directly on the back of the people that it inspired the work and that it was about, right? That is why I do what I do, and that is the driving force for why she gets back in the seat. For a start, I don't even like drawing manga. It's not fun, just plain tedious, and super unglamorous too. She's right. It is. Serialized manga sucks. Everyone's going to tell you that. You can draw all day and not be any further. Why do I do what I do? And again, you were thinking that back in the 6th grade. Why do I do this shit? Why do I devote myself to this thing that isn't going to get me anywhere? But again, why do you draw then? Why do you do what you do? Again, the rest of the frame then becomes colored in, right? Why do you do what you do? Put it in these hard yards, right? All through this montage, you know? Again, this is why. Because I give Metal Parade working title over to you to have a read, to figure out the story, to look at all the stuff, and she's fucking crying, she's bawling, she loves it. Again, on Broken Record, the whole thing was the connection. The whole thing was the connection between the two. That's why we do what we do, you know? And again, that's just a beautiful sentiment. It's a beautiful ending. Again, that whole fantasy sequence, scratch that. That's why in her memory, I'm going to continue to do what I do here. Because again, now based on my platform, there is 1 million Kyomotos, right? There is 1 million people that love my work and want to continue to be inspired by it. That's why, again, we end this film by her working dawn till dusk on this thing, yet again. That's what inspires me. Yeah, absolutely adore this sequence at the very end. The perfect bow to put on the film, right? As we relive the good days, relive the deadlines, relive the dates, relive the everything, right? The late nights, the early mornings, all to work together on our first one-shot Metal Parade. It still makes her cry even now too, which is great. Again, this is why I do what I do, to see these reactions to my work. That's what I do, right? And again, based on that, you're now ready to go once again. I'm ready to continue what I'm doing, right? It's Shark Time, baby. This shit means something to me, man. Time to make volume 13. Yeah, again, in the childhood room of her childhood best friend who has passed away, right? Again, feeling all that guilt because of it, and then reading your own work, seeing how much it inspired her based on what's in the room, and how much the story is now moving me again, even now. Almost becoming Kyomoto in this moment as well. Rereading your own work for the first time with new eyes. Yeah, this shit's fucking good. Hell yeah, what a moment. I'm gonna stand up straight once again, finally be able to look back at that back once again, and pass through the door and be able to continue to do what I do. Almost robotically now, returning back to where she came from. I've got work to do, determination, moving into the light, all these things, right? And yeah, this is what now directly inspires me. I'm gonna use a bit of sticky tape, I'm gonna strike up that kind of blank 4 coma, right? Or even the 4 coma that, again, the 4 coma I almost imagined that passed through the thing. I don't know, it's fucking weird. Yeah, that's what inspires me now. This is Homer Simpson do it for her type shit. I'm gonna see this frame here in like a year and it's gonna fucking destroy me. I already know it. But anyway, I mean, that's about it. From here we just basically get the credits. And yeah, the day just passes. I'm just trying to get that across here at the very end too. The song that kind of ends this thing is very beautiful too. Again, she worked from dawn till dusk on this thing and will continue to do so based on all available evidence for the foreseeable future. That's the power of art, baby. That's the power of this shit. And yeah, I mean, we got a bunch of Netflix shit at the end. I loved that, and I'm very happy I went back through it in the amount of detail that I went back through it with. Clearly amazing. Clearly like a 10 out of 10. Like, obviously, you'd have to be stupid to not think this is a 10 out of 10. I'm very excited to upload it and edit it, which is not something that I say for a lot of videos. So they're doing something right over here. I would wholeheartedly recommend look back to anybody that likes art, likes feeling things, likes goodness. likes things that are good, they would enjoy it. Anybody with a soul, yeah. How good was that? That brightened up my day. I was meant to record even after this. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to now. Like, I'm kind of fucking wrecked. This shit means something to me, man. That's all I'm trying to say. This shit means something to me. Yeah. Fuck, that was good. I want to watch it again. Yeah, great, fantastic. I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching. I really loved this video, and I really loved this movie. And I hope it gets all the plaudits and awards that it should get, because I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, I'm going to close out the video now. Patreon, of course, Discord, like the video, subscribe, all that shit. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you later. Goodbye. Bye-bye.